Today is the most anticipated moment of this entire project so far. We are finally going to get this thing on a first drive if all goes well. Today in particular is exciting because I just got ourselves a new clock spring, new/used. This is a used clock spring out of an MP4 12C McLaren. This was $500, and allegedly the only reason they pulled this unit off of the 12C donor car is a faulty turn signal, allegedly. So the clock spring, according to the listing, should still be good. And in the future, if I ever need extra levers, I'll have some extra parts laying around. Anyway, I'm so stoked for all of this. So right now, today, we're gonna start scavenging this clock spring, put it on that car, and hopefully that'll solve most of our problems. So the only thing I'm uncertain about right now is if we can actually pull the clock spring out separately from the whole unit. But let's get to pulling this thing apart right now and seeing what kind of connector is holding it in. And if it's an easy disconnect, I can slap the new clock spring into the car. But if it's not an easy disconnect, I'm not sure. I'll have to probably, I don't even know what I'll do. We'll see. All right, here goes another episode of If This Doesn't Work, It'll Be Another $1,200. I'll preface this whole section in the video with there is literally no content online disassembling a McLaren steering column to this extent. I've been referencing two videos that address McLaren steering columns at all, from Alex at Legit Street Cars and Omar's Garage. Huge thanks to both of them for actually posting that specific of a project online. But my point is, it's mostly trial and error, and since I'm doing this as cheap as possible, it's not just direct swap with a new part. It's buying parts-only items to scavenge what I need for my existing 650S part. There we go. Of course, this isn't a clock spring like any other normal clock spring. It has a ribbon connecting the internal parts to a connector that's like way back deep in there. Normal clock springs just have connectors on the back that you can literally just unplug and take the thing out. Freaking stupid. Looks like I'm gonna have to run with the 12C steering column. If there is a bad turn signal, I need to swap that with the 650S one. But it looks like the clock spring can't be detached from this actual steering column unit. And this is the part where I jump ahead in time and tell you this isn't necessarily the case. Next video, I'll unscrew basically every bolt on this thing and swap the clock spring into the new one, but I'll explain in a second why I had to do that. eBay seller definitely wasn't honest in his listing. Really quickly, I'll show you guys. I took apart the steering position lever. Any way you push it, it has two little tabs that it'll push up or down. And those little tabs it pushes up or down will actually push some of these buttons depending on which way you push it. Then obviously that signal just gets put into this 4-pin connector. That moves your steering wheel up and down and front and back. I actually found in here, one of these was completely out of its socket and kind of crooked. So I think now that I lined it all back up and put it back together, it might just work. So in goes the new clock spring unit from the 12C, and at this point I was installing it specifically to confirm that the clock spring was good and see if that would fix the last major faults the car was giving. I knew the turn signal stock would still need to be replaced according to the seller, but I figured I could drive the car temporarily without a turn signal if needed. What I was banking on though was the menu stock working, which it didn't. And he didn't put that in his listing. So guess what? I can't check the oil level now. Nice. The listing said that the turn signal was going out, but everything else is good. Turns out the menu control stock also doesn't work, so that's a huge bummer. So as much as I want to, I can't cycle through the codes at all. But in other good news, it's only throwing 2 faults now, airbag fault and also tire monitoring fault. But it's just switching between these two. You guys remember before it was cycling through the PCC fault, limp mode, transmission fault, like all kinds of big faults, but they seem to be all gone. I already did the full lock left and full lock right on this thing. Obviously it doesn't mean that the faults won't come back, but for now it looks like they're not there. With the ignition on and everything, it was throwing all kinds of codes. Listen, there's no beeping at me anymore. It's like it's a happy car again. Airbag fault and tire monitoring fault, which I already know how to clear the tire monitoring fault. I got a part on the way for that and it'll be gone. Yeah, I think it's first drive time. Mentally preparing myself for the moment to come was the hardest part. There were 5 months of questions running through my head. Did I check that? Did I connect this? Did I connect the entire cooling and hydraulic systems correctly? Will this thing explode when I put it in gear? Will it drive at all? Remember, we have not so much as released the parking brake on this thing yet. The transmission remains the biggest concern on the project right now. If this thing drives though, it's a dash to the finish line as fast as possible on this project. Guess there's nothing to it but to do it, dude. I'm so nervous for this. It's like, at this point in my head, if I did one thing wrong that I shouldn't be driving on and it snaps something and this whole project just goes downhill from here, I'm just so nervous, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure it goes front and back first and the steering works and the brakes work. That's what I'm gonna for sure figure out right now before I actually try to drive this thing at all. I wish I could check. Oh, PCC fault. Steering works. Feels maybe a little heavy, but it feels like it's assisted. That pump is really working though, I'm curious. First time I'm taking the parking brake off of this thing since really the parking brake is in fact disengaged. Feels like I have brake pressure. We are in first gear. We are in first gear. Oh, it's going forward. Let's go reverse because I have to reverse this thing into the garage again. Dude. Oh my gosh, it works. Holy crap. I'm gonna just do one last check. Parking brakes on. All right, last check. Dude, I think we're all systems go. Check engine light is still on, so I think it's probably the spark plugs in the ignition coil, if I were to guess. Oh my gosh. All right, I guess I'm just gonna send it, dude. No freaking way. No freaking way. What an absolutely incredible moment. 5 months of working on this thing and wondering if it'll even drive. In this one moment, feeling that car move forward and backwards even just slightly, I knew all the late nights and all the long days were gonna pay off in the end. And all the big concerns I had when pushing that buy it now button back in November were all checking out for the best. So sick. But man, was my mind about to be blown. I am driving the freaking cheapest McLaren. First time I've ever driven a McLaren. Oh my gosh! This thing desperately needs an alignment. Wow! No freaking way! No freaking way, dude! Oh my gosh! It's starting to beep at me now. Oh my gosh. No freaking way. I think we're on limp mode again. No way. I don't know why we're in limp mode. Am I smoking or anything? Am I good? Okay. It's not beeping anymore. A couple faults came back. I'm just gonna go for it again, dude. Dude, the shifts are so fast in this thing. Oh my gosh. Not kidding. They were not kidding when they said you can't feel shifts. Oh my gosh. No freaking way. Wow. Dude. Oh my gosh! I guess I'll take it around one more time. I'm gonna try to get into a higher gear. Wow! I can't believe this is life. This is reality right now. I'm smelling a little bit of smokiness. I'm gonna go home. Dude, I can't even believe this is reality right now. This is incredible. Wow. I can't see anything. That's a huge win. Dude, this is a huge win. Well, you heard it here first. If this thing drives, we're on to the finish line. After sitting at auction yards for years, the anticipation for this thing getting back on the road is growing. There's still a lot of work to do, but from here, knowing this car actually runs and drives, I can actually start allowing myself to get excited about it. What a blessing to have come so far on this project, and I can't wait to get this thing finished up. So I fired up the car to reposition in the garage, and it now puffs some nice blue smoke. But I saw that on Matt Armstrong's video about adding a little bit too much oil, which I actually did add another half quart before this. So I probably just need to drain a little bit out. We should be good to go. In other news, the power steering fluid is finally going down, so it means it's actually working its way through the system. Now, if I crack this valve, you guys saw it shoots power steering fluid out of it. But yeah, it's taken significantly more now. Right when I got the car, I had no clue what I was in for. And luckily, it actually went as well as it could have to this point. So dude, I'm more than excited for this. There is still a laundry list of things we have to do. I still need to get the SRS module reset, so I need to tear the interior apart a little bit to get to those, and the seat belts and everything. I will be repairing this OEM diffuser here. Obviously has the reverse lights and the cameras on this as well. So I'll be repairing this. And in these boxes here, I actually have a lot of upgraded body parts for this car that I'm also gonna be putting on with the new front end. Got a new spoiler, got some side skirts, all kinds of cool stuff. I will also be throwing in some higher flow air filters in this thing, and I'm going to probably be ordering a titanium exhaust for this. And then I also have ignition coils and spark plugs on the way. So either next video or the next video after that, I'm gonna have to just do the spark plugs and ignition coils on this car. It sucks so much. This job sucks so much. Unfortunately, I just have to do it. We're at 65,000 miles, and that's when they recommend from factory to replace ignition coils and spark plugs, and I think that's why we're getting a misfire sometimes on this thing. But while I'm doing that, I can also throw these air filters in. I can maybe install the new titanium exhaust, and since these levers do not work, I'll have to figure out if I can harvest the parts out of the 650S one and transfer them into the 12C one. I have no idea. I'll have to really look into that. And just like that, part number 10's over on the series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I still cannot believe that I actually just drove this thing. I actually just heard the engine shifting gears and the wind in my face. Insane. Anyway, still lots of things to do on this thing, but they're gonna go so fast in comparison to all the other tedious work we've been doing. Just little miscellaneous things now to figure out, and I could not be more excited about it. I cannot believe this is a fully running and driving car with 0 leaks on it, like nothing. It's all good. The next couple things we get to do on this project, in my opinion, are going to be the most exciting. We get to complete the car with a front end body kit, and it's gonna look like a real car for the first time ever since I've gotten it. And we're also installing some performance parts, a titanium high flow exhaust and some high flow air filters. That turbo is gonna sound so good in just a little bit. What a dream come true, dude. What an absolute privilege to be working on this thing. I cannot believe we have a fully running and driving McLaren right now. Insane. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed part number 10. I'll catch you in part number 11. See you guys then. Thanks for watching.